has that connection to the youngsters. It's just like, like it looks cool, and even be it like, for example, your style of talking, etc. Outer appearance, yani, what would you personally say? Yani, for example, somebody like me adopting, yani, like, for example, dressing up in a certain way sometimes, or like whoever it can be in general in dawah. I know it's important for us to, have the Islamic dress sense as well. But just like your general advice, what would you say? Yani,
Clear,
yeah.
crystal clear.
Yeah.
Well, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Like I just said, it's a pleasure for me to meet you again.
Same.
Alhamdulillah.
May Allah bless you.
Allah brought us together in California,
Yeah.
but it wasn't meant for us to be together in New York,
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
coast to coast. But
Yeah.
the qadr is like that.
Yeah.
Things work in ways that we don't always understand or,
Yeah.
conventional to us, but Allah is in control. So it's a pleasure, alhamdulillah, to be here.
Same.
I'm glad to be back here in the UK, to be honest. To be in London and the other cities. Alhamdulillah, I've been enjoying my trip.
Mashallah.
May Allah accept it from us all.
Ameen. Ameen.
Walillahi alhamd. With that being said, I think it's a very important question. And I think that a lot of us lack balance. A lot of us lack proper understanding, the proper comprehension of the issue at hand. With regards to something being obligatory versus something being recommended versus something being a cultural practice.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying to you? If you want to wear it, wear it. If you don't want to wear it, don't wear it. Okay? My preference does not mean that I look down upon your preference. As long as it's not an issue of haram, halal.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Or something in which there's a scholar or a speaker and he does something, how he speaks or how he dresses, that's unbefitting. But if it's not unbefitting, even if it's just normal, I can't criticize you. If you decide to wear pants because you feel comfortable in pants, or that's what you feel is a means of appealing to the youth, I can't criticize you, even though I have my own preference. Now, if my preference and your preference is halal, haram, that's a different story. So oftentimes people, they lack that fiqh, let alone balance. And even if it's an issue of haram, halal, disliked, recommended, etc., they lack balance. They just go too hard or too soft. So everything in Islam is based off of balance. Allah tells us in the Quran, He made us a just, balanced nation. Allah tells us that Allah Azza wa Jal, He placed the scale, and not for you to transgress against the mizan, the scale. There's balance in everything. So proper understanding, fiqh, knowledge, and balance. Last but not least is that you can only do what you believe is beneficial and effective and impactful yourself. So if you're traveling in different countries and you've noticed that the youth will listen to you just because of how you're dressed, and they don't feel alienated, or he's some type of saint or sheikh, he's above us, but he's relating to us, then that's what you got to stick with. You have to stick with what works. You have to stick with that which is practical. And oftentimes we become, bewildered in theory. Theory is not practice. In the field is not what you read and study in the books. So there was a statement once I read that came from ancient China. There was a great military general, and he lived a great career, long career. He was very successful in his campaigns, and there was a younger general that was he was training and taking him under his wing. So the first battle that they went to, he brought a wealth of books with him. Scrolls and all types of military, books and this treatise and that treatise. Yeah. And the first thing that the older general says, he says, get rid of those books. Throw them and discard them immediately because those books are of no use on the battlefield. So the point of the story is not that the knowledge is of no use, but that's all theory. Now this is practical. So many people, they talk about dawah or they talk about giving a debate. How many debates have you given? How much street dawah have you done? How many youth have you actually sat down and talked with and discussed with and the problems of the youth? So you have to go with that which you feel is effective as long as it's not impermissible. And as long as you have the proper balance. And there lies no doubt the human nature and human psychology is that appearance is of paramount importance. Yeah. And you can't deny that. Appearance is extremely important. Okay, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he asked the Prophet ﷺ with regards to the piece of clothing, the cloak or the robe. He says, "Tatajammalu bihi." He says you can beautify yourself when there is the Eid, and when there's the wufud, the delegates, they come to you. Yeah. And the Messenger of Allah, he wouldn't take this silk garment because silk for men, pure silk is haram. But the highlighting point in Sahih Bukhari is that Umar said that you can wear it to dress up and to present yourself when you have guests and when there's an occasion and when there's something of special time. So this hadith, among many others, clearly proves is that appearance is what? Of paramount importance. How you conduct yourself, how you hold yourself, and how people look at you. And oftentimes people, they think that just a beard, even though a beard is obligatory, but you're a saint.
Yeah.
Or they think just because you wear a thobe, you're automatically some type of saint. You may say, I'm just a normal Muslim. So we can't deny the reality of that. That people look at someone, how you talk, how you walk, what you say.
Yeah.
And people, hypothetically speaking, they can relate to someone who's closer to them. Okay? But at the same time, that doesn't mean that a person of knowledge or a speaker or a caller always compromises. But we're not dealing with haram and halal right now. Because wearing the thobe is not obligatory. Tight pants, different story.
Yeah.
Beneath the ankles, different story. You wearing pure silk, pure gold, this or what? Different story. But we're talking about pants that are permissible to wear.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily an issue of compromising halal and haram because it's not what? It's not an issue of halal and haram. Even though that's a detailed discussion with regards to when you do compromise certain things for a maslahah which is clearly strong. You see what I'm saying? So fiqh, balance, experience, I think those are the three golden principles. Proper understanding, proper balance, and most importantly, practical experience of what is effective in dawah and the youth and that which is just in the what? In the books. Wallahu alam.